What process will cause calcium carbonate to precipitate? Okay. Calcium buildup on an ion exchange. What causes it? Need to know that. Salty water in an ion exchange unit right after an ion exchange means that the rinse wasn't good enough, right? Brine, rinse, service, backwash, brine, rinse. Right, so rinse came after brine, so if it didn't, no, makes sense, right? All right, taste and odor. Best practice to prevent taste and odors. You keep them from happening, you're good. Always investigate them, though. You never know. All right, even if it's the same person over and over and over again, you never know. Because there are times that people go out there and they don't care. So, definition of an aquifer: rocky subsurface layer. Conventional filtration, plant, right? Conventional sedimentation, coagulation, flocculation, filtration, 30 minutes detention time. Okay. THMs formed by chlorine reaction to organics. The pipe or tank is drained and recoated. How are you going to prevent, some corrosion in the future? You can use cathodic protection. Okay, easy way to remember cathodic protection is ants are bad, cats are good. Sacrificial anode, right? We're going to sacrifice the ant. And you're going to have a electrolyte that it flows through, which is the water with a little bit of minerals. Without minerals, it ain't going to happen. Okay? Artesian well, make sure you define it. How long will this resin last? Math. Okay. How many gallons for a couple inches of drop in a tank? So you're going to have to do a conversion from inches to feet. If you're doing it in feet, you can do it by square inches and make it easier on you, but the answer is probably going to be feet. So, all right. Water cools in reservoir. What happens? It's going to cause turnover, right? Cold water goes down, hot water goes up. Solids contact unit. Water quality system demands. Make sure you know that. Okay? Read about solids contact units. Grouted annular space. You're going to hear that term. Make sure you know what it is. It has to do with the well. Okay? Decrease dose of coagulation by increasing detention time. So the longer you can hold on to the water, the less coagulation you have to use. Okay? You're going to increase your turbidity. You're going to check your, if you have it increasing, you're going to have to check your dose. Okay? Jar testing is your friend. Okay, split treatment is 90% for magnesium, 11%. 90, just remember 90, magnesium 11. Okay. Soda ash, permanent hardness, right? We've already talked about this several times. Calculate the Langmuir index. That's a simple 1+1 question, same thing. What's the most likely water to be corrosive? Low TDS, low pH, low alkalinity, right? Citric acid on your membrane. Okay, keep that in mind. Citric acid for inorganic buildup. And what's your time for reporting samples or tampering? Okay, need to know that because you're in charge of a water system. So that has been the review for the questions on there. I'm going to read some of the other stuff in just a minute. But that way you have a general idea. So if you didn't guess it by the state of Florida right here, this is for the state of Florida. So keep it in mind. And I'm not perfect, so there's some of those that may be wrong. But it gives you a start, a little bit of a start. So it's hard to remember all this stuff. So the smart thing to do for you're taking your test, remember, if you don't know it, you're not going to remember it. So 50-50 it. Take an educated guess. Most of the time you're right. Your brain just doesn't comprehend it. Okay? The other thing to remember is take your time. The sheets are there for your help, so you can write stuff down. You have a formula sheet. If you've got problems with your computer, okay, go and talk to them immediately. You need to tell them so that way you don't run to the end and have an issue. Okay? And nothing throws you off when you're 55 questions in to your A and it freezes. And you can't get it back, so you have to go and talk to them. And now you have 50 questions and you can't remember where you started. So if you do freeze, make sure you write down the number because the people who are proctoring the test do not know. Okay? Always be friendly to the proctor people, right? They don't care whether you pass or fail, they're just happy to see you. Okay? Generally, if you get 2 pieces of paper, means that you have failed. And if you get 1 piece of paper, you pass. But sometimes they forget the second piece of paper. So don't be all disappointed when you see the only one, 1 piece of paper and you failed. Okay, 70% is what you need to pass. It's 100 questions. It means each one is worth 1. Okay, so you don't get penalized for having a wrong answer. You just don't get credit for having a correct answer. So just remember that if you're guessing on questions, some questions, and the other thing is, so after you're finished with your test, study again. All right, you're going to learn a lot more on your second stage. So make sure you do that. Okay, because you're prepping for your next license level, but you're also not intending to just being the guy who passed the test. You want to be the best operator you physically can, right? That's the whole point of testing. Otherwise, you're just memorizing facts and figures, and you got a bunch of people who are just maintenance people that become operators that are not really operators. So keep that in mind. Hopefully, this has been helpful, and don't string me up by the rafters if I made a mistake. So I can only remember so much. All right.